All right, I'm Matthew Freeman, and thank you for uh, doing this video. So today, this has to do with the chapter that's in my book, The Business of Education, and we're talking about opportunity cost of college classes. Now, I'm not downplaying college classes, not downplaying college at all, but it's important to understand because in my book, I talk about understanding the importance of the education and using and knowing what opportunity you're giving up. And so, fix that Excel spreadsheet. So, there's a few points that are important to understand in my book, and it has a lot to do with just understanding the opportunity of that we're giving up when we go to college. Now, as I stated, I'm not completely against college. It's super important. Um, but I think sometimes we get wrapped up in too much into the educational side of how it's not going to benefit just the whole experience and not making the right selection in the program that we select. Um, and it's not I'm not downplaying any programs, but for example, we can just say I would I don't think too many people do anymore, but you get an education and get a degree in general education. Okay, what use does that have? I mean, what are you really going to do with a degree in general education? You know, one of the things that just comes to mind right now. I think of some of the early college campuses and high schools, how they promote that they're going to help you get an associate's degree, but what they do is they don't even on the elective side, you know, an early college campus, put a C there for college campus. Um, what I don't get is they promote general education as associates, but if these individuals are working towards their associate's degree, let's go ahead and get them the college credit that they need to move towards their bachelor's degree instead of taking the miscellaneous, useless, extra elective and help them take that introduction to business course, introduction into psychology if that's what they choose, introduction to engineering, accounting, uh, instead of just general education. Now, associate's degrees are perfect for your basics, but still, you can specialize in associate's degree of chemistry, biology, business, something to get additional credits that's going to help you going to the university level. But that's not just my argument. It's also why are we getting bachelor's degrees? Doctoral degree in general education. It's not just general education. We have a lot of degrees that fall into that. That's great if that's what you want to study as a hobby, but how's that really going to benefit you besides taking out loans, spending money? Now, what I did is I went through, searched, and found okay, the average cost per course per credit. And that's what you see right here. If you look over here on the PowerPoint, okay, right there, C3, your average cost in the United States is roughly $445 for a doctoral degree per credit. You're going to spend $445 per credit. So that means when you take a course, the average student is spending $1,335 for that one course. That's how much that one class is going to cost you. But the thing you got to understand is that class isn't just going to cost you one thing. It's going to cost you more than just the money that you're spending. And I'm not talking about the cost of transportation, meals, and all those others, textbooks. No, we're not talking about that. We're talking about opportunity of cost. Business is big in understanding how you use your resource, how you use your time, And so, how's our time being used? You know, that's what matters, time, right? Time is a huge component of our resource and how we're using it. That is such a huge deal, time. That's why I'm going to circle it. How are you using your time? Okay. So we know when we go to college, okay, we're taking a 3 quarter class, 3 credit course. And so we're going to spend 3 hours a week in that class if we're good students. I know there's you guys out there going to skip class and all that, but 3 hours a week, okay, in the classroom. Okay. That's time. Okay. I'm not saying to skip class, but you gotta understand that's time you're investing into that subject also. Okay. And so it's super important to pick courses that matter, that apply as say your electives. How's that elective really benefit you besides just complete goof off and you're gonna and or and it has no relationship to what you're really learning. Um, some of those classes, yes, I know sometimes it's just to take a chill class, but why do you want to take an elective that's going to require a large amount of energy or time when it really doesn't offer you much in towards your actual education that you're earning for your profession. And so you're spending those 3 hours a week in class, okay? And then and so that's the total time. Now, if we're great students, excellent students, top line students, we know that we need to spend roughly 3 hours for of study time for every hour of class time. So we're able to cover the material and be prepared for class. Because in college classes, you're going to go through the material really quick. You're going to cover a chapter in a day, 2 chapters, maybe 3 chapters in a week. So you're going to have a lot of material. Some of these chapters are 20 to 50 pages. And it's not 20 to 50 pages reading Harry Potter, you know. So you're looking at covering a lot of material in a 7-day period, plus any other tasks that you need to get done. And you got to remember, you have other courses you're taking too. So you're going to spend at least 3 hours for every hour of class if you're truly going to do it correctly, prepare. So you're looking at spending a total of 12 hours. 12 hours of your total studying class time. That's the total work time you're going to spend for the subject. Now, here's the other key thing you got to understand. How long are your classes? Well, I went through research, average semester is pretty much about 15 to 17 weeks. So I said, let's do it right down the middle and take 16. So average semester is 16 weeks. So if you take that, you're going to spend 12 hours a week studying, multiplied by 16, you're going to spend a total of 192 hours a semester either studying or in class. And we're saying if you're an ideal student, okay, 192 hours. If you factor that at the minimum wage, the national minimum wage, as of right now, not the going rate of 10, 15 inflation rate of minimum wage, what the national minimum wage is currently, you are potentially costing yourself $1,392 in that time that you're spending of studying and in class. It's a cost of $1,392. That's how much of your time you're putting into that class. So over that semester, you could have went and if you didn't take that class at all, you potentially, if we come down here to the total cost, potentially the total cost right there, total cost of that class at $725, potentially you could have made that semester $2,700 and 27.27. Okay, so $2,700. Now, granted, $725 is not a lot of money. So, yeah, investing into yourself, that $2,700 for one class over a semester, potentially getting a doctoral degree would offer you way more benefit. Okay. And so when we're just saying this is a college that's charging $4.45 a credit hour, okay, and you're factoring this at minimum wage, minimum wage is at $7.25. So when they say, okay, so there's that argument now, national minimum wage needs to be $15 an hour. Well, when you do that, you're now costing yourself per class. This is per class. $4,215 per class. That's potentially over one semester what you can make per class. Okay, for the amount of time that you're investing into that education. So that's very important to understand. Now, say we take someone that's and that makes roughly decent amount, $30 an hour. Okay, that is going to put them where they are investing per course of their time and their money at that rate of $4.45 of $7,095. So $7,100 is potentially. So when you factor in a semester, if you're taking 4 courses, right here, if you're at the minimum wage, 4 courses, potentially you're costing of yourself the cost of the course and the cost of your time, $11,000 almost, $11,000 for one semester. So if you went and worked instead of the amount of time you invested was 192 hours, went and worked those hours, well, that's 192 for one class. That's not for 4 classes. That's a 1 class. If we do that for 4, that means you work 768 hours on the semester. Maybe you take a semester divided by 16 weeks. That means you're working 48 extra hours a week. So 48 extra hours is what you're putting in for your 4 courses with class time and study time. So, and we're not factoring overtime as in, overtime rates. We're just saying straight 725. So I actually could get a lot higher if you factor in an overtime rate. But we're saying $11,000 is additionally what you can go make. Okay. So that is huge. Okay. So that's roughly in 2 semesters, full time, $22,000. And so that's what you need to understand is that you're costing yourself $22,000 if you went and got a minimum wage job of spending that time. $22,000. And if you're over here at the $30 rate, you're costing yourself in time what they cost at roughly, we'll just say 57,000. So $57,000 a year is what you potentially could go make. So truthfully, when you're looking at going to get that degree, how you're gonna take that 57,000? Is that gonna reinvest in potentially make you more money? Okay, because that's what you got to look at. How are you gonna take this time, and that's what we're talking about, taking this time money. Okay, how is that investment? Question mark, investment going to benefit you? And that's what you need to know. And that investment should mean some type of advancement. Are you going to get a raise? Is that raise significant enough? Okay. That's what you need to know. That's your investment. Your investment is your time that equals a certain amount of currency that you potentially can make. And in return, you're going to get that currency that you invest in that education. But that's why it's important to make a selection into the what programs you're going into and what courses you're taking to make sure you maximize the benefit of your time. You want to maximize that investment. And so if you're not investing your time correctly, then you're not going to maximize that investment in return. And the research of determining what programs and courses you should take, or even certifications, this is just saying a doctoral degree, will really know if you should even take that investment. And this is a doctoral degree, we can look at others and we can apply to master's and doctoral degrees. What investment return are you going to get by getting that education? Because that's what you need to know. How long is it going to take you to receive that investment? Okay, so should you invest into a higher costing program that's say $600 a credit hour instead of this $445? If we just put that in right over here into the Excel, we change that real quick. And we just change that $445 to $600. It just jumped dramatically. Now we went to 30,000. So now we're at 60,000. Our cost of time at the $30 range just went up $3,000. That's for 1 year. 12, we just increased a whole another $1,000 at the 725. That's actually $250 a month. It's potentially tons of money that you're investing of your own time that potentially you could be making. But the real factor is if I change that to zero, it's not the cost of the course, the cost of time. And that's the point that you got to understand. If you look at the cost of time, you're at $5,000 for one semester. That's your cost of time for a full load. That's half of the cost. And if you look at when you're making $30 an hour, it's 23. It was very low. It only changed by $5,000. $5,000 is that you're paying. Your time is the biggest cost factor. So what the point I'm trying to make is, when you're looking into education, look at how the education is going to benefit you in the long run. What type of raises do you see yourself getting next year? Here's a huge question. Are you going to be able to just automatically, as soon as you get that degree within a year or less, say 18 months or less, are you going to be able to gain a return at some point already? How much of a raise are you going to get? Are you going to be able to make $500 extra a month, $1,000? That's what you want. How fast a return are you going to start getting money? You have to worry about hiring processes and adjustments and things. So that's why I say 18 months or less to start getting a return. Now, just like investments, you're not going to get a return as quickly. You're going to get some part of it, but you should be getting some type of return in 18 months. If you're not getting it in 18 months, maybe you should restructure and decide what other path should you go for the amount of money that you're spending and the amount of time, especially the time. The time is huge, especially as you're a higher earning individual. That amount of time is a huge factor. So you should just expect a higher return for that investment. So how much more And how much sooner should you expect that return? That's why researching this information is so important. Research the education you're getting. Just don't blindly go choose an education. Research it. Determine which educational path is going to benefit you. Because if we're just going and getting something that is more of a hobby, or as I want to say, the general education path, how's that really going to benefit you in increasing your investment of that education? Your education is an investment that is supposed to financially benefit you. That is the cost portion, is your time, and the benefit, the investment, the reward is what's supposed to come after you invest that time. Understand that the opportunity that you're sacrificing is that amount of money. But know what your potential return is, how long it's going to take you. Should you delay the process to get more time and experience that's going to benefit you in your industry of choice? But these are just some of the things that I discussed in my book, The Business of Education. You want to know more? It's coming out soon. Just finished writing it right for the new year. It's going through editorial process. I'll start putting clips out. This thing's going to be up on, Twitter, Instagram, post it out so you can watch a video. But understanding your time is essential. It has a huge factor. You just saw how we just changed that cost of the course to zero, and how I only changed it slightly. That even at the lowest hourly pay rate, half of your cost goes straight to your time. Half. And as you go up and you're a higher potential earner, more of your cost is your time. So understand the value of your time and how you need to make sure that this is going to financially benefit you, and how this is an investment. This is an investment. Make sure you're making the correct investment and not just wasting your investment. You're not just investing because you like the way it looks, that it financially is going to benefit you, and you have a plan set out that's going to benefit you in the long run. It's Matthew Freeman classes, just a little bit of what's to come. Hopefully you like this topic of opportunity costs for college classes. I'm not against college. It's beneficial. I talk about other reasons why, key reason why college is important. It financially does make sense, but we got to make the right financial choices in our education to make it financially make sense. Y'all have a great day.